What's up, y'all? Valley Vision on a Friday. It's a little bit different. We're going to preview some LSU softball. But I'm not by myself. I'm in Cards and Culture today. We decided to switch it up. And I have a wonderful guest next to me that I'm super excited about, Shelby Wickersham. For all of you softball fans out there, Shelby had a great run at LSU. Before that, she had a great run at Mount Carmel with me. We won a couple of state championships together, volleyball and softball. Yeah. We had a good time in high school.
Same year.
Really? Oh, yeah. I already told that story. Look, I did an interview with Emily Meyer from beach volleyball. And let everybody know all of my state rings are gone except for one. Yeah, I lost them on my own, but that's how my parents found out. And they were, after that interview was released, my dad texted me and was like, your rings? Question mark? Because you know they're not cheap.
Yeah.
Like we had to do the whole fitting thing. Oh, there goes the volume. All right. But okay, what are you up to now? Let everybody know.
So I just graduated about 2 years ago with my undergraduate degree in psychology, and then I got my master's in social work. So now I'm a licensed master of social work, and I'm a school counselor at Pope John Paul High School in Slidell.
And how do you feel about that? Do you like it? Do we
I'm
enjoy
loving
it?
it. It's very different than Mount Carmel. It's a co-ed school, a little bit smaller, but very interesting, very fun. I love my coworkers. I love the students, getting to watch them grow. We have 8th through 12th grade, and it's great.
There's life after college athletics. What's it like to shift from being a college athlete to an adult, a regular adult?
Yeah, it's very different. You're not as scheduled. You have to create your own schedule. Like I've had to figure out ways to work out. Like before they told me, hey, you're going to get up at 6 in the morning. You're going to come work out every day. Now it's a little bit different. Like I'm planning all of that for myself, which has been difficult at times.
Shelby was like type A in high school, valedictorian, by the way. Type A, like on everything. And I remember like even in college, I would text her like, hey, what are you doing? You were either at therapy or workouts or practice or study hall or tutoring or whatever it was. And I was like, damn, I don't have a friend anymore.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, you had an awesome career here at LSU. And there's a reason you're on this couch right now, because LSU is in the Super Regionals, No.9 versus Standford, No.8. They are playing in California, so that game is actually at 9 p.m. We're previewing this one pretty early because I know she drove all the way up here from New Orleans. I was not going to make her stay up here any later than she needed to, but she so kindly beat the traffic and got here. But let's preview that game. I want to hear what you have to say as a former player, especially under Beth Torina. You guys made it to Super Regionals twice while you were here.
My freshman year, and then we had our COVID year, which was cut short, unfortunately. That was a great team. We ended the season number 4, when everything had stopped. So I would have loved to see what that season had in store for us. I think definitely a Super Regional and probably a Women's College World Series as well, but we don't know. So, and then my junior year, we played in a regional, and then my senior year, we played Florida State in the Supers.
I remember that. Okay, so before we even get into the actual preview of this game, there's a little bit of controversy going on. Not too much tea, but Beth Torina told the media, there's an argument that LSU should be hosting a Super.
Yeah.
They're in California. Stanford is hosting, but LSU made an argument that maybe things should be happening in Tiger Park this weekend. They're not. Are there advantages to actually being on the road in the postseason?
Well, I think they all have advantages and disadvantages. I think one of the biggest advantages for LSU is our fan base travels well. So I don't know if any away game really feels like a true away game. It may feel like most people's home games, the way that we travel, which is really, really neat. And thank you, Tiger fans, for that, because that is just the best, playing in front of everyone and having a bunch of people root for you and cheer you on. And Quinlan, who's the director of ops for softball, she sent out an email earlier this week to all the Diamondbackers and alums, like asking us to send letters to the girls for well wishes this trip, which I think was really sweet and super cool. And they hung all the different letters that, it was hundreds of them that we all sent for the girls to read while they're in their meeting room.
Did you send one?
I did.
You did?
I did.
Did y'all ever get those?
We did. We always got letters of encouragement from our fans. It was awesome. It just shows how supportive the Tiger fan base is, and I couldn't imagine any better fan base.
We've talked to, obviously, a lot of athletes on Valley Vision. I think Kaya Johnson from gymnastics said kind of the same thing about the fan. I mean, we hear it from every single sport, every single athlete, how much of an impact the fan base has, but just the amount of effort they put into making sure that the athletes are appreciated and feel that encouragement is crazy.
Yeah.
So you're not the first to say that.
And then I think also, to not just the fans, but I think, Coach Beth has control over when we go to bed, who we're rooming with on the road and what we're eating. They're making sure we're well fed every meal. I think those are also advantages that you don't always get at home. Like, not a good choice, but you could decide to get McDonald's before the game. Not a great choice, but when you're away, you can't do things like that. So I think that that's great.
A little bit more routine, discipline, less, I guess, distraction of being at home, being comfortable kind of thing. Because you immediately think about the disadvantages of having to be on the road, not playing at home, especially in the postseason. But it's not something that, especially as a fan or somebody that covers the sport, you don't immediately go to, okay, how can this be beneficial? But this is why we have an former athlete sitting on the couch giving us that insight. I
think that's the only way you can look at it. This is the situation that we're in, and we have to make the most of where we're at. We're looking for the first Women's College World Series berth since 2017. So, we need this one. We're going after it. And what I think is cool about LSU softball in general is that we always fight. We've done it the hard way many times, like Coach Beth always says. I think from day one, we have to earn everything. Nothing's given to us. And that goes for the gear. On the first day, freshman year, we're all excited, like going to walk up to our lockers, and all we have in there is our necessities, our practice stuff, our practice shoes, our cleats. And that's it. And they say, you know what? If you want more gear, you're going to have to earn it. So,
dude, Shelby, I remember your freshman, this just popped into my head. I remember your freshman year. I used to go sleep over at Shelby's all the time. And y'all had to run, was it stadiums in under a certain amount of time?
Shuttles.
It was shuttles.
Well, we also did have to run stadiums in under a certain amount of time, too.
But there was something, and the whole team had to do it for y'all to get y'all's backpacks.
Yes.
And I remember the night before, and you were like, God, I want to get our backpacks. We have to get under this time. Like, I'm so sick of doing this. But I remember that.
Yeah.
Of y'all having to, like, earn that right to wear the backpacks that all the LSU athletes wear.
That was the best one. And,
campus.
Of course, they made the hardest thing, the shuttle, of course, the hardest one to get the most prized thing that we wanted. Yeah. Another thing that we had to do, which I think is pretty cool, is we had to go to 3 LSU sporting events with teammates. And they couldn't be football because everybody goes to the football games. So they had to be different than football. And I remember going with my teammates, and it was fun, and it was a team bonding activity. But not only that, we're supporting our fellow athletes at LSU, and we're earning gear, which is super cool. And that brings me kind of to the team bonding aspect of things. I think that you're only as good as your team bond. And from what I've heard from the girls this season, their team bond is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I texted Raylan Chafin before I came here today, and I was like, anything you think people would want to know? And she's like, our team bond is awesome. I'm like, perfect. I'll make sure I
let everybody know that the chemistry is there.
Yeah.
I told you before we went live, we have heard that from Sierra Briggs. We heard it from Allie Newland. Because we did interviews with them, and we asked what's different about this team this year. It feels like there's something different in the air. They started off undefeated. Obviously, SEC is a little bit tougher, right? Toughest conference out there. But the answer was, the chemistry this year. Like everybody's on the same page. We're all working towards the same thing. So to, again, hammer that idea in. she just told you the same thing.
Yeah,
so.
And I can speak from experience with Team Bond. I feel like that COVID year, we had the best team bond that, in my 4 years. And it doesn't mean that the other years we didn't have great seasons. It just, that connection. When you feel it and you really fight for each other and play for each other, it's different. It's special.
Okay, well, their postseason run continues tonight, 9 p.m. again against Standford. Let's break it down a little bit. There's a pitching battle that's going to happen. Sydney Berzon and Najeri Kennedy, two of the best pitchers in the postseason right now. Sydney, we talked about her a couple weeks ago after she and weigh in on this as a pitcher. The woman pitched 14 innings. They asked her, do you want to come out? She said no. It wasn't even a thought. She ended up, obviously got the win. Almost 208. Thank you, Adam. 208 pitches. I think 190, 180 something strikes. And forgive me, I don't know the exact number. She's got a 1.62 ERA. Before we continue with this game tonight, how difficult is it to comprehend pitching 14 innings in a row in a game like that?
Extremely difficult, especially in a highly competitive game. I can't even say that I've done that. Probably back in my travel ball days, I've pitched 14 innings in a day.
The Patriots?
But not at that high of a competitive level. So I think that's amazing. And then I thought it was cool after post-game interview, they talked about how, would you pitch again tomorrow if you're called upon? And she was like, yeah. I'm going to pitch tomorrow.
No-brainer.
And that's super, super cool. Coach Beth does a great job of preparing all of the pitchers at LSU to be able to go. We have pretty lengthy pitching workouts every day. We only take one off day a week. So we're ready to go most of the time. That is just crazy to throw 208 pitches and then to come back and say, okay, tomorrow I'm ready to start if they want me to.
Run it back. But like I said, Kennedy, Stanford's pitcher, she's got a sub-1 ERA, 0.52 and 187 innings. This is going to be a battle of the offenses. Correct me if I'm wrong. I was going to ask you, what do you think the key is here? What do you need to see from Sydney? How do you hit Kennedy?
I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Definitely. It's going to be a pitcher's duel. It's going to be what offense can perform the best. And I don't think it's going to be the long ball. I don't think it's going to be extra base hits. I think it's going to be the small ball game that's going to win it. So I think that if we see LSU have a squeeze opportunity, be prepared to see them take it. That's something we always prepare for. I think Coach Beth has a great plan in place just from playing for her. I know we're always prepared with a plan. And something interesting that I actually read today, too, was that Kelly Lynch has actually hit off of Kennedy before, and she was the only home run that Kennedy gave up in 135 innings last year.
So there's a little glimmer of, hey, we've done it already. We can do it again. She's not undefeatable. That's an interesting little glimmer of information
and I think that they've been using some of the information from Kelly while she was at Washington to go into this game too. Like, hey, what was she pitching? What was she throwing? What were y'all seeing? How did y'all attack her? What worked? What didn't work? I think it's just as important to figure out what works as recognizing what doesn't work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And basing your plan off of that.
Oh, you got some people in the chat. That's what I was checking. Anthony's normally on the show checking the chat, but Chat King is behind the scenes today. Carl Dunn. Do you know Carl the Cat? I think you do.
So,
You've definitely met him before. Shelby, what a great player. I'm old enough to remember her dad playing for LSU. So Mr. Jeff was a quarterback here and then went to Miami?
Yeah, he got drafted to the Dolphins, and then he played a couple years in the CFL.
Yep.
The Ottawa Rough Riders.
So Carl's seen your dad play and you.
Awesome.
And now look, she's retired on the couch hanging out with me. That's how it goes. Corinna, look, the question is who is hitting first? Okay, so
Stanford is the home team. So LSU will be hitting first.
I think she
What?
There's no way. I knew this was going to happen.
Batting first?
Shelby. Shelby, who's going to hit first? Like, yeah, like Standford will hit second, but, like, who's actually going to get their first hit?
Oh, sorry, everybody.
So much. Nothing has changed.
Past that.
Nothing has changed.
You never know. You gotta explain it to people sometimes. And I'm in the education system, so
that's exactly what it was.
I gotta make sure that everyone is educated.
She went into education mode right there. And you know what? Props to you though, because that may have been a valid question. We have had people ask questions because they just don't know. Yeah. So now you're gonna get both answers.
Well, yeah.
LSU is gonna actually go to the plate first, but who do you think is gonna break it open first hit?
I'm hoping that it's LSU.
Yeah, we're hoping that it's LSU.
I'm hoping that it starts off with the first hitter on LSU's team. I'm hoping that maybe even if it's not, that massive hit that we're trying to see, it might be a bunt. Right. Like, we don't know. So, but I'm hoping it's LSU, and I think it's going to be LSU. I don't know if anybody in the country prepares the way that LSU prepares. I mean, it's just amazing. Matt Caron behind the scenes. I mean, he spends hours and hours chopping up films from tons of games for us to chart where the pitches are, for us to see what are the hitters' batting averages in the different zones so we know where to pitch to them.
Yeah.
And, everybody on the team, it's a full-fledged effort of tagging these pitches and making sure that we have the right information. Mm-hmm. So we will never be out-prepared. I can honestly say that. We may get outplayed at times, and that's okay. Everybody has those games, but I don't think that LSU softball would ever be out-prepared.
Put in the work. That's funny. I think Allie talked about it. She talked about, control what you can control, put in the work, and if it doesn't go your way, then you can say, you know what, I did everything I could. Yeah. It is what it is, and then you move on.
Right.
So clearly that is a theme within LSU softball. Mm-hmm. We've heard that more than one time as well. Mm-hmm. Corona said if they can score first, then Sydney can hold them down with one run. I think that is a key to this. If LSU can figure out how to get on top of Kennedy quickly and put a run up early, I think the momentum immediately swings to LSU's side, and at least tonight, that's how they get a win. This is a series, though.
And I really don't know that Standford has faced the adversity that LSU has all year. I mean, you're playing in the SEC. It's the best conference, in my opinion, mm-hmm. and that's not even being biased. But it's the best conference in the country. You're constantly seeing pitchers like her. Mm-hmm. We have tons of All-Americans in the SEC, too. And so I think that because we have been challenged all year, we will be ready for this moment. I don't see anything holding us back or stopping us. I do think it's going to be a one-run game.
Yeah.
So who can make less errors? Who can make the diving play that saves the game?
So let's talk about the defense. And, Corinne, I'll get to your question in just a second. But as a pitcher, you want to be really confident in the girls behind you, right? Mm-hmm. That if, all right, you slip up a little bit and somebody gets a hit, that your defense is going to hold you down. Yeah. Talk a little bit about the defense and the fight that they have and the effort. We've seen diving plays all season. Mm-hmm. Allie Newland is and the only reason I keep bringing her up is because she was on Up and In with Anthony, and she had an incredible interview, gave a lot of insight to this year's team. But we've seen some stellar plays from some of these girls. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about, maybe some of the ones that were behind you when you were on the mound and what you've seen from this year's team.
Yeah. So Sierra Briggs, obviously, Gold Glove winner times two
consecutive years, baby.
I had her in the outfield behind me. I also had Aaliyah Andrews in the same year. I mean, any ball in the outfield was
you were in good shape.
I was. And Allie Newland's been awesome out there. I think overall defense has always been a fundamental thing for LSU. Mm-hmm. The pitching has always done well historically. The defense has always done well historically. We don't give up too many errors, and I'm going to knock on wood.
We're on wood, so just knock on that.
But we also, not only do we play solid defense, but we make those diving plays. But it's because we practice them. I mean, there's a drill that we call tweeners, and Coach Dobson tries to hit the ball wherever you can't get to it. And we have to figure out, okay, who's getting that ball, diving for it, and making that play.
Find a way, yeah.
Yeah, we practice those things. And so I think that it's awesome when we see it on SportsCenter Top 10, Sierra Briggs or Allie Newland making a diving play. But I'm like, I've seen that hundreds of times happen in practice.
Right. It's not a surprise to you.
Yeah.
It just happened to be caught on camera during a game.
Right.
Let's catch up here. Okay, Corinna, I'll get back to your question right now. If you had to bet which player will get the hit for LSU, since you've played with a lot of the current players, who would it be?
Well,
that's hard.
That is very hard. I think it could be a lot of them. I think Taylor Pleasance is getting hot and it's getting dangerous.
We talked about that on Monday. Taylor Pleasance is heating up. Yeah.
And I think, she got 2 home runs, I'm pretty sure, in the regional, which were huge on putting LSU ahead. And I would really love to see her get that hit this weekend.
Taylor Pleasance, I can guarantee you that Corinna was going to say the same thing because she brought Taylor up on Monday's show. Yeah. She said Allie is a human highlight reel. Yeah, she loves to make really cool plays all the time. Yeah. Rachel said, what's your favorite memory from LSU softball besides hanging with your favorite student manager?
Oh my gosh. Hey, Rachel. I miss you. Gosh, it's so hard because there's so many of them. And, you can bring up all the different games that were awesome. I mean, I played in a lot of crazy games. I'll never forget the one when I was a freshman from Florida. It was my first big SEC start. And it was, the first batter up hits a ball to the wall.
Shit.
And then a double. Next batter up, home run. So now we're down 2-0, top of the first inning.
And this is your first, SEC start?
Well, I had played against Texas
big
A&M the week before, but this was, our first. We hadn't beat Florida in a series since 2007.
So a little bit more of a bigger game.
It was very nerve-wracking, and we had won one, lost one, and this was the rubber match. And I remember Coach saying, hey, you're going to start today. And I was like, wait, is she talking to me or the other Shelby, And so 2-0, I remember Coach coming out there and just saying, hey, just do what you do. And I think the rest of the game we didn't give up a hit. Cheers to Aaliyah in the outfield, saving my butt a couple times. And then Aaliyah again gets on first base, and Amanda Sanchez, I'll never forget, hits a ball to the wall. And Coach is on third base, mic'd up.
I already know where you're going. Go ahead.
It was the craziest game ever. Coach is on third base, mic'd up, and she's like, go, go, go. And she's like, no. And Aaliyah slides in safe.
But Torina's on the ground, fully laying stomach on the ground, screaming no, because she told her to go, and then she went. She was like, oh, shit, wait, never mind. And, I remember seeing that clip.
It was the craziest game ever, and so much fun just for it to end that way in the bottom of the 7th, for us to walk it off like that. It was just a highlight of my career game-wise, game-wise. Probably the highlights of LSU, not the part that everyone sees. Just getting to bond with the team, the practices every day, the bullpen, we would call it. We would always have different workouts and stuff to do, but we would chat it up in the bullpen. And we would actually call something a wick redo, okay? So, I would throw a pitch and it wouldn't be a good one, and I'd be like, wait, I'm going to just redo that one. And so now, apparently, they still have it where they say, all right, I'm going to take a wick redo. Because it would be mid-game, or not mid-game, mid-practice, and I would say, oh, wait, that was my warm-up pitch. And they're like,
that's not how
you've been warm for 30 minutes. No. So now there's a wick warm-up in the bullpen.
So they coined a term that you used to say.
Yeah.
And
it's funny.
Iconic, to be honest. That's pretty iconic. That's
but
really
it was fun. It was a great time. I loved my P's. Maribeth Gorsuch was a big mentor to me. She's over at GCU. They had a great season. Made it to a regional again, which was awesome. Allie Kilponen's still over there, bestie girl. She's been doing great coaching. Had a great career herself. Raylan Chafin, I was actually her road roommate most of my career. She was mine and I was hers.
I want you to weigh in because you told me this before we went live, but Coach Beth is pretty superstitious. So how does that affect the roommate situation? Share.
So the year that Ray came in, we were doing great. And if we're doing good, Coach Beth keeps the roommates the same. Like, it could be 5 weeks of away games and you have the same roommate every time. But then the second that you lose or something bad happens, she's like, you're never rooming together again. And she completely switches up the roommates until, you know, we keep doing good. And then if we have a bad game, okay, roommates are changing. Another interesting thing was that Raylene Gutierrez, I was her first road roomie and she was my last. So when her freshman year came in the fall, we had gone to Texas to play in a fall ball tournament. I roomed with her. And then when we were playing in that, Arizona State Regional, she was my roommate. And that was my last go. So I thought that was super cool. But yeah, Coach is very superstitious. And it's not just with the roommates. She'll have a puffer jacket that she would wear during the winter time.
We've seen the puffer jacket for sure.
Yeah, everyone's seen the puffer jacket. I mean, she's always wearing it, and the reason why she's always wearing it is because if we're doing good, it doesn't matter if it's 80 degrees outside, she's gonna wear the puffer jacket.
So she's that superstitious.
Oh gosh, very superstitious. She used to braid my hair before every game. So I'd always go to her office. She would braid my hair and Savannah Stewart's hair. And she was like, I have to braid your hair before the game. Like, I didn't have an option. She was braiding my hair before every game.
No cool hairstyles, no nothing.
No, it was the one braid here, and then I had it in a ponytail, and then the little braid in the back every game. She wouldn't let us switch it up unless we didn't have a good game. And she was like, what are we doing different this game?
I love that she braided your hair. I think that's awesome.
It was super cool.
Your head coach was braiding your hair before games. You were going to her office to get your hair braided.
Yeah.
That's sick. Okay, so let's see. I'm not going to keep you forever. I know you have to get back to New Orleans. You just kind of talked about the senior class. You know, you saw them come in as freshmen.
Oh, yeah.
How special is that senior class?
So we knew the senior class was going to be special the day they walked on campus. I'll never forget. So part of our earning gear was we had blast motions. It's this little device on our bats that kind of counts the swings, analyzes them. And one of the goals was, like, you had to have 10,000 swings or maybe it was 1,000. I don't know. I wasn't a hitter, so I don't know the exact number, but
one or the other.
I remember it was supposed to take like 3 weeks, 4 weeks to accomplish that many swings for you to get your gear. And it required you staying after practice some days to take your own cuts. And that was the purpose of it, like earn your gear. Right. And this freshman class came in, Taylor Pleasance, Sierra, Allie Newland, all of them, Raylene, and they accomplished the goal in a week. And we were all like, wait, what is going on? They would stay after practice for hours and swing and swing and swing. And they were always at the field and still continue to always be at the field. They were just special. They have so much heart. They care so much. They want to be the best. And I think that's why they are the best. You know, they've put in the work. They've earned it. And I think that's really cool that I kind of was able to see them as freshmen and see them grow throughout the years. But also knowing the day that they walked on campus that they were going to make a difference in the LSU softball program. And I think Coach always says, leave a place better than you found it. And this senior class has done just that.
They have a chance to get back to Oklahoma City. They win tonight, hopefully, and then maybe win tomorrow. Don't even worry about Sunday. But it feels like what we've heard from, you know, former players, from current players, that this is the year. This is the year.
Yeah.
Coach Beth is the most winningest coach in LSU softball history.
Yeah. Well deserved.
It feels like the year that they're going to get back there. Do you think that happens? Do they trump Standford and find themselves in Oklahoma City?
Yeah, I honestly think that this is a great position for us to be in. When I saw the bracket come out, I was like, this is a great spot for us. Obviously, we would love to host, but I think that this is a great path for us. I think that you're going to see them play hard. They're going to fight no matter what, and I think it's going to be a battle. And I'm hoping for the best for them. I'll be watching every game that they play, and I hope that we can jump up tonight. I think winning this first game is super important. Just, you know, from my history of playing, you always want to win that first game. It's not to say that you can't do it the next 2 games, but this game tonight is, going to set the tone for the weekend. So I hope that we come out, we jump out on top, we jump out early. I don't know that their pitcher has faced the type of adversity that our pitchers have. So I think maybe if we can get on her quick, put some pressure on the field, that, that might not be something they've dealt with all season. It might kind of rattle them. So that's what I'm hoping for.
I don't see this team, if they get out early, again, like I said at the beginning of the show, I think that momentum swings through the whole weekend. If they get out early in the first couple innings, can put a run on the board, I don't see this team being the type to not be able to finish a game. Even if Standford does answer, I still think LSU there's a little bit more fire this year. Not that there hasn't been in the past and when you were on the team, but as we've just seen throughout the season, we've heard throughout the season, there's a little bit of an extra want this year.
And as long as they have an out, they have life. And I think they've proven that as early as the Clearwater tournament this year. Like, if we have one out, we have life. And so I think that says a lot, because the game's not going to be over till it's over. So no matter who jumps out first, it's not over until the last out.
I know, and we'll round out after this, I know that you and Coach Beth were super tight. Y'all had a great relationship. She's obviously a wonderful coach. You're now coaching high school softball. What have you learned from her that you've been able to translate into, teaching the next generation yourself?
Oh my gosh, I could write books and books and books on all that Coach Beth has taught me. I think one of the big things, though, is that she has coached me so much in softball, but she's also about making people better people and about turning them into, great women that are successful, that are leaders. And those are the values that I try to instill in the girls that I coach, the kids that I counsel, right, at school. I think that's the bigger picture. Wins are great, but winning in life is even better than wins on the field. And I think she does that better than anybody. She actually texted me the other day for my birthday. And I just think that's so cool, too, that once you're in the LSU family, you're never out of it. They always include the alumni at different events. They always keep us updated on, the happenings at LSU. It's forever LSU. It really is. I mean, and then just her wealth of knowledge around the game is amazing. Sometimes I find myself saying the same pitching terms that she would say to me, kind of coming up with different game plans the way that she used to. So I would say number 1 was the life part of it. And then I would say number 2, the softball stuff, in the order of what I wanted to take from her and what I have taken from her.
Coach Beth, we knew she was a fan favorite, but the players love her as well.
Oh, yeah.
Let's catch up. There's a bug in my face. I apologize. Corona wants to know, all about your career. Who was more superstitious, Coach Beth or Sierra Briggs? Sierra was telling us how superstitious she was. That was a tongue twister. In her interview, she talked about, all kinds of stuff that she does this same exact thing. There's a bug flying in my face. I'm so sorry. But who was more superstitious?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think they both had their own superstitions and their own ways. Both very superstitious. And I'm not going to lie, most of the girls on the team are superstitious. More
I feel like you have to be.
Are superstitious than not.
I feel like you have to be. We do. I just had that feeling. We're going to OKC, y'all. I just have a good feeling about this. And shout out to Shelby. It was an absolute pleasure to watch you pitch. Much respect and admiration for the work you put in for the program.
Thank you so much.
You still got fans. You did a lot for the program.
Well, and I'm missing it. And I am glad that I am still around, because I'm an hour away. I've come up to a couple of the games this year. And I'm always watching on TV, even if I'm not at the game. With coaching my own high school softball team, it was a little bit challenging this year to get out to the games. But, I mean, it's just so awesome to be a part of the LSU family and to have, all of the Tiger fans supporting you not just on the field, but in life after. That's what I've noticed what is really cool about LSU too. So thank you all for all the support, not only on the softball field, but just in life and beyond.
Well, I think that's the perfect place to drop it. One last time. Oh, this is actually the question that I was about to ask you. You were in Omaha when baseball won the Natty. If softball goes to OKC, are you going?
Oh, I'm sure me and my dad will be on
a
flight up there.
They'll figure out how to get there.
Heading up.
I ran into you in Omaha. I have no doubt you'll be in OKC. Well, again, appreciate you for driving all the way up here through the traffic to do a little preview. LSU softball at 9 p.m. today. Number 9 taking on number 8. Standford should be in Tiger Park, but we're in Cali. We'll take it. We'll fight it. Hopefully they end up in OKC. Anything else you want to leave with the people?
Well, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it. And
Shelby
I enjoyed getting to catch up with you.
I know. We'll do some
we
more
were besties in high school and beyond, so it's always fun.
We had some experiences in high school for sure. Lots of grueling practices and tournaments.
Yeah.
Wouldn't trade it. I would go back. I never thought that I would say that, but I would go back. Close the yearbook, Abby. We appreciate y'all for watching. We will see y'all soon. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.